I don't just think that Quest is the better value. I think that Quest is the better product, period.
What? Alright, this is interesting, because Mark Zuckerberg, well, the CEO of Meta, just posted 3 minutes and a half video on his Instagram about his first experience with the Apple Vision Pro. And the reaction was weird. So this is gonna be a kind of a different video, but I think it was nice to follow it up together, kind of react to what he's saying and kind of like correct some things. Also because I saw this video while I was working on my comparison between these two headsets. And yeah, let's get into it.
Alright guys, so I finally tried Apple's Vision Pro. And I have to say that before this, I expected that Quest would be the better value for most people since it's really good and it's like 7 times less expensive.
I mean, it's really hard to argue here. The value of the Quest 3 is amazing. It's actually sold undervalued because they're losing money each time they sell one because, they try to recoup with the software sales. Same thing that happens in the console market. So yeah, it's a great value. By the way, we always said that. And compared to this one, well, yeah, it's 7 times less expensive and you can do pretty much everything you do with it, even more. But quality is different, of course, but for now it gets a point.
But after using it, I don't just think that Quest is the better value. I think that Quest is the better product, period.
What?
And the different...
Okay. I mean, this is kind of a big claim, Zuck. On the hardware standpoint, when there's not really much of a competition, I'm gonna go more in depth in my video comparison. But no? I mean, I really want to see where this is going, by the way, now.
And, the different companies made different design decisions for the headsets. They have different strengths.
It's true. At the end of the day, we're still talking about 2 virtual reality headsets. Like, even if Apple doesn't want to call it like that, it's a VR headset, it has lenses for the screen so you can see it, it has cameras for the tracking, it has a face cushion, it's something that you wear on your face. It's a VR headset.
But overall, Quest is better for the vast majority of things that people use mixed reality for.
Define majority of things and define what people want from mixed reality, because your target is mostly gamers who bought the Quest 3. It's mostly for games. Not many people did it for productivity or anything like that. Instead, for the Vision Pro, it's more people that want iPad functionalities with it, watch movies, check emails, or anything like that. There's a broader audience there right now that wants different things.
Now, my friend Kenny is actually capturing this video on Quest's high-resolution mixed reality pass-through right now. We're just here in my living room, and
I mean, this is hilarious. Just look at this position, by the way. It seems like the most unnatural thing ever.
You can see his browser windows and whatever else he's got running up here. So yeah, Quest 3 does high-quality pass-through with big screens, just like Vision Pro.
True. There's something that not many people know, maybe. There's a kind of weird perception where Quest 3 is just for games. Instead, you can use it with 3 different big windows in front of you, watch a movie, check emails, WhatsApp, or whatever you want to do, all at the same time. Kind of a way of multitasking. But of course, on the Vision Pro, it's a bit more powerful because you can have like infinite amount of windows floating in every single position. With the Quest 3, it's a bit more constrained. But yeah, you can do it. You can even have it up close and touch the panels like it's a tablet. So you get the point here.
But we also designed it to be great for a lot of other things. Moving around, playing games, hanging out with friends and socializing, working out, and more.
It's true. These are all things that you can do with the Quest 3. Right now you can't do very well with the Vision Pro because there's not many applications available. I mean, there are 3 games in the store right now. It will grow. Right now, of course, it's right. The Quest 3 has more stuff.
Quest, I think is just a lot more comfortable. We designed it to weigh 120 grams less, which makes a really big difference on your face.
It's true. This thing is very heavy on your face, and both the straps don't really do a great job. The Quest 3 is not the most comfortable thing ever, by the way, but it is a bit better. You can feel that it's lighter. That's right.
There's no wires that get in the way when you move around.
The infamous battery.
It's a big deal. Our field of view is wider, and I found our screen to be brighter also.
Field of view. Yeah, the field of view is actually wider. It's true. It feels more natural with the Quest 3 compared to the Vision Pro, where it kind of is narrower also in the vertical point. So it really feels like you're wearing goggles. It's like you go back to the Oculus Rift, for example, the kind of vision, kind of a constraint. That's why I actually modded mine a bit, taking out the face cushion completely and using this to have the lenses even closer to my eyes to have a better field of view. Oh, and about the screen being brighter, yes, it's brighter, but anyway, personally, I never use like these headsets with the full brightness because the persistence gets worse when the brightness is up, and that's always not a good thing. And at the same time, like I think it's more important the contrast ratio. For example, the OLED displays on the Vision Pro have a very wide contrast ratio, so that means that the bright zones looks much brighter than the darker zones, thing that don't really happen in the LCD display on the Quest 3. Yes, it's brighter, but even the dark parts will be blown out. So that doesn't really hold a candle.
Just that, Apple's headset has this motion blur as you move around, which Quest is just a lot crisper. Now,
motion blur moving around, well, yes, it's true. The OLED as a technology has a higher persistence, so it will feel not as smooth, not as fast as an LCD display because it takes more time for the pixel to turn on and off and show different images. But saying that the Quest 3 is crisper, no, the resolution is much lower. Maybe meant in motion, but unless you're really shaking your heads very fast, and there's something that you will never do with a Vision Pro because there's nothing to use it like that for, it's really not that perceivable.
Apple's screen does have a higher resolution, and that's really nice. But I was surprised by how many trade-offs they had to make to the quality of the device and the comfort and ergonomics and other aspects of the display and artifacts in order to get to that.
I don't know what here's talking about because the constraints in the design here are not for the screens. I mean, we have micro OLED displays on the big screen beyond, and this is this small. So it's not about that, it's about all the sensors that they want to put on, all the cameras they want to put on to have the kind of interaction that you have, to have a second screen in front, to have an eyesight that nobody cares about. There's so many other things that became a constraint for the design to make it heavier. Yeah, there's not the reason why this thing is bulky. It's bulky for tons of other reasons, not the displays.
Now for input, Quest supports precision controllers that are great for games. Both headsets support hand tracking, but I found ours to be a little more accurate.
What are you talking about? No, hand tracking is not more accurate with the Quest. Actually, it has a perceivable latency compared to the one on the Vision Pro. About the controllers, I like controllers. I wish the Vision Pro could have controllers because that's my favorite way to actually interact, because I can actually trust it completely because I know where I'm pointing at. Also, I can use it in games or different applications. But yeah, I like the fact that he points out that also the Quest hand tracking, because there's a lot of like misinformation out there when you look at the news and something like that, where you say that the only way to interact with the Quest 3 is the controllers. Is not true. Hand tracking works pretty well. Better than the Vision Pro? I don't think so, but it works very well. I never had a problem.
Apple's eye tracking is really nice. We actually had those sensors back in Quest Pro. We took them out for Quest 3, and we're going to bring them back in the future.
And that's a very good news, because eye tracking is good to have, also not just for interaction. That, by the way, it's a hit and miss with the Vision Pro, for me at least, but it's also for better rendering, to use better the performance of the processors. The Vision Pro uses that technology a lot. That's why you have super crisp images. Even a 4090 will actually struggle to render on that resolution, but if you actually render just for the part that you're looking at, that becomes better. So that's why it's needed in the future VR headsets, and it's great that it's bringing them back.
It's a nice interface. It's not perfect for everything though. For typing or complex tasks,
I agree.
You're gonna want things like hands or a keyboard or controllers, or eventually a neural interface for those.
True. The neural interface that you mentioned is super interesting, because they actually bought a CTR lab a while back. They were making bracelets to actually move and interact with things without actually moving a muscle. It's super trippy stuff. That is going to be for sure the future of interaction when it comes to our medium. For now, though eye tracking feels close enough to be something that you think about it and you click, but yeah, I feel like it's not the end game, let's say.
Kind of inputs. Quest's immersive content library is a lot deeper. You know, we've been working with studios building virtual and mixed reality games and other content for a long time now.
Yeah, of course, they have this platform from very long, more than 5 years, so luckily they have a lot of games.
And if you want to watch YouTube or play Xbox on a big screen anywhere you go, that's only available on Quest for now.
That's true. That's true. Right now it's just on Quest. I mean, you can play Xbox on the Vision Pro, but yeah, the native app is there, so good point.
So, you know, when I look around, it seems like there are a lot of people who just assumed that Vision Pro would be higher quality because it's Apple and it costs $3,000 more.
Like if you spend more, usually you get more, right?
But, you know, honestly, I'm pretty surprised that Quest is so much better for the vast majority of things that people use these headsets for with that price differential.
Again, though, define the audience because you're talking about gamers mostly. So yeah, of course, this is better for pretty much everything in that regard. When it comes to productivity, it's still completely usable, by the way. We're going to see it, but you know, it doesn't feel as natural. It's not as integrated in the operating system as much as with the Vision Pro. So yes and no.
Now, look, I know that, you know, some fanboys get upset whenever anyone dares to question if Apple's going to be the leader.
Spicy, Zuck.
In a new category. But the reality is that every generation of computing has an open and a closed model. And yeah, in mobile, Apple's closed model won.
Closed model, I think it thinks about closed model as like the App Store being closed, so you can't really sideload apps or things from other stores or something like that. Let's see where he's going here.
But it's not always that way. If you go back to the PC era, Microsoft's open model was the winner. And in this next generation, Meta is going to be the open model, and I really want to make sure that the open model wins out again.
Okay, he's losing me a bit here. Open model? Meta? Well, I would not really consider Quest as an open platform. Yes, you can sideload stuff with SideQuest or, you know, with ADB. There's also AppLab, where, by the way, they take a 30% cut from the devs, even if they don't do any marketing or they put it in any, you know, store or anything like that. So, like, I don't know where it's going really with this opening. For sure, it's more open than the platform on the Vision Pro, where, you know, you can't do anything about it unless Apple wants you to do it. But call it open, you know, not really.
The future is not yet written. So,
True.
you know, I want to take a moment to just thank everyone who's been building with us for more than a decade. That goes for both Quest and the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, which are doing way better than I even hoped that they would.
Those are very cool, by the way. I have the first version. I still use it daily.
You know, as the old saying goes, the best way to predict the future is to invent it. So, I'll see you all out there.
All right, and here we had it. The 3 minutes and 30 seconds of Zuckerberg talking about the Vision Pro. What do you think? I feel like it had some good points, to be honest. Like, it's good for him to actually reinstate how good the Quest 3 is, because, I'm gonna be honest, it's a very great headset. About being better, depends from the angle you're looking at. For the hardware standpoint, no, it's not better. Like, pretty much everything is better on the Vision Pro. I mean, it's more expensive. They had more budget to actually spend on things. Just the screens alone are more expensive than the entire package with the Quest 3, you know, market prices. But yeah, I think it was important actually from him to say that you can do the same things with the Quest 3. Because yes, things are going wild right now. And, you know, many Apple fans are actually calling out things that the Quest 3 can do when it actually is able to. Yes, it doesn't have the great screen, yet it doesn't have the great resolution, so you don't want to use it as much in a way for certain tasks like productivity, just because of that. But you can still do it with the Quest 3. It's just in a different way, or maybe using a third-party app. But, you know, it's possible. But anyway, let me know what you think about it. Do you think that it's better value? Do you think that Zuckerberg has a point? Or do you think he's just like panicking a bit and trying to convince people that the Quest 3 is a good product? Very curious to hear from you. Anyway, guys, this was a bit of a different video. I hope you enjoy it. And I'm gonna arrive with the comparison soon. I also working on the True Analysis video. It's a very hard to do with this guy. I found a way to actually use the camera, but because of the pixel arrangement on this, you actually have to rotate the headset to don't collide with the pixels on the sensor of the camera. Very weird stuff, but hopefully I'm gonna be able to manage to make it. It's a priority, but it's eating a lot of my time just to get a decent shot that I don't even want to share yet. So I keep you updated. Stay tuned on the channel for the comparison and for when that's gonna arrive. And as always, guys, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe to the channel for more of VR tech. If you really love the channel, join the button on there. Then further, also the Patreon. Thanks to all the Patreons for joining the channel, of course. And I see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Ciao.